Tetris was a movie I was super hyped for because Matthew Vaughn's output and producing of Marv with the Kingsman franchise, Kick-Ass and others has been sublime. Taron Egerton has had a great run from Kingsman to the gripping Blackbird via Rocketman, which, don't tell anyone, but I think it's better than Bohemian Rhapsody, and if you know me, I love Queen. And he delivers here in this mile-a-minute romp through the Tokyo USSR to get the rights to get Tetris. Now, I didn't get a Game Boy until 1997 for my transatlantic flight, but Tetris was a cultural lightning rod. Until then, I was playing on a PC and I thought, hey, how are people playing games on this small little thing? Releasing just as the Iron Curtain was falling and Russia and its satellite states were opening up, with Poland a few years before, and the policy of glasnost and perestroika, which was bringing the USSR over to, well, the thinking of the West. I'm not going to play politics here, but that's what happened. And of course, the Berlin Wall fell. The movie, however, felt unfortunately flawed, as it starts off like what felt like an episode of The Toys That Made Us, and then heading into an undercooked political business thriller, which couldn't, well, tell if it wanted to be like an action comedy or a political subterfuge thriller. Well, a Russian game ported to the single biggest leap in gaming, the Game Boy, by an American living in Japan is a ridiculously interesting story, but it wanted to tell so many more, one of which was a bit more interesting. We have the story of Bulletproof Games and its owner trying to get Tetris to consoles and arcades in Japan, but I personally have always found the story of a man in Soviet Russia making possibly the biggest game of all time the most interesting part, but due to socialism and communism, he did not get a penny from it. Well, that's the story that I was told by my parents at the time, and the marketing, it was huge that a Russian game was being sold on a Japanese console in America with the biggest game. But yes, it started like that, but the story felt very rushed, and an American trying to navigate the USSR was admittedly gripping, but descended into somewhat of an action caper and business comedy at times. These gripping parts are interspersed with a look at the last days of Robert Maxwell's publishing empire, which felt at times farcical with his son, and I thought, oh god, these bits are so annoying, and obviously they need to be told because there was that was the conflict. But the conflict between the opening up of business to America and the closed off world that we had in USSR and now have in CCP China, that's interesting. And there is enough conflict there to get this movie across. The moving over to Robert Maxwell's Mirror Empire, and slowly over the course of the movie that was falling apart. They never really explained why, but yeah, we knew if you're in Britain there. It just really distracted from what was a really good political thriller. And the whole reveals of Sasha being a KGB agent and then she defected, and the whole people in Russia having their own internal conflicts was much more interesting than a jumped up trust fund baby, Nepo baby with wanting to get his father's approval, which just was not interesting. It felt like a simple feel-good America rules and will save Russia from communism, which came as a rather abrupt about turn. We never told exactly why one capitalist was okay and the other one wasn't, which obviously we do know why, but it just felt uneven in parts. And the last half just did kind of exist on vibes, and I wanted to know more about this life in Russia because it's very interesting and very apt for what's happening in the world right now. That said, it was an enjoyable romp. I enjoyed it and I had fun, but it was one-dimensional and had the complexity of a chocolate teapot, unfortunately, but it was fun. And Taron Egerton, well, what's more to say? He is an absolute star. But I'll probably give it a good 2.5 to 3 out of 5, maybe. I haven't decided on the score, but it's around that ballpark. Or should I say tennis court. But that is it. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.